Sure if you're supposed to do this, but it works really well. Well, we kind of ran out of gravel, but I do have something else I can do for the meantime just to help move things along. Something I've been thinking about for a few years. It's kind of a, I don't know, not exactly going to be what I wanted, but it'll work. So let's go tackle that project. And in here, it's a 4-pack. There's a 2-pack. I love these things. I have no affiliation with them, but I love them. I bought them this spring, mainly for the drill and the high-speed disc, because those both have 4 hookups. The drill's pretty obvious, but at the same time, it's just nice. But man, you just spend so much time screwing around at the back here. So we're gonna change things over here. Make sure I've hooked things up right. All right, we slapped these Outback wraps on. To my, I shouldn't say surprise, I surprise myself sometimes. I do recall now that I hooked up the hoses in the mounts where I like to normally set them. On this guy, I guess on this guy, I always do the top is A, bottom is B. On the Delta track, they're side by side, and I do A and B. And it's just A and B, left side, right side. They're paired up nicely. However, a morning like today, when yesterday was 36 degrees and I spent most of the day out in the sun and my brain's kind of cooked, it seems beneficial to have these Outback wraps on. And also, if I ever need to hook it up to somebody else's tractor, I can do that. I will need to do some more stuff to this eventually, and it's just running additional hydraulic lines. But if you're not familiar with what I've done, there is a video. Again, I'm terrible at cross-posting these and linking, but I'll try. But when I got the Dynamic Dozer, it only had one set of hydraulics, which was these ones, and it had the joystick in the cab, and you would essentially just have constant flow going through them. Now, the up and down's a little slow, and the other is, if you ever wanted to move it or use it on a different tractor that doesn't have the joystick, you can't do it because you need this connection. So I just added a spare set on the main lift cylinder. This guy works really good and goes a lot faster up and down. So if you're just playing around in the yard and say you've got things set to your blade angle or offset or whatever, just going up and down is a lot faster. But if you're going to fine tune, it's actually a lot nicer to be on the joystick, and I'll point that out in a minute. What I also did is I added Dict Assist. It runs on the same circuit as the joystick. And again, if I'm trying to override the Dict Assist, it's just, rather than reaching forward and pressing the button on the touch screen or pulling back on the joystick and going slow, it's just nice to grab the other hydraulic control and just, and it lifts 3 to 4 times faster. So I added Dict Assist, which is this guy, which is plumbed into this one as well. To make life simpler, They had it set up that you could run it directly to the battery of the tractor. I didn't love that. I talked to Matt, the guy, Yannick at MY Precision Ag, and he said these are best to have their own battery. That's why they want you to go direct to there, because if you end up with a bad connection through the 7-pin, it'll start resetting and then you're down all the time. So I added a small RV battery and a toggle switch, and I plumbed it into the lights as well. So that's what I've got going on here. This cord wire, there's another one somewhere. I might have ripped it off. Oh, I just cut it off. I was trying to rig up an automatic level control. I had it working. It was just way too sensitive, and it was just always jerking one way to the other, to the other. It was too sensitive, but too slow. So it was just constantly going, meh, and it was really annoying. So I just did away with it. And there's my Outback antenna. I built this bracket just to mount over. You want your Outback receiver. This is an A231 or 321 or something along that line. It's in line with the center line of, it's actually ever so slightly forward or rear of the leading edge of the blade, but it's fine. And what else? That's about it for out here. Oh, I did add a couple of throttling valves, because just these two are way too fast on the, because these are, I think these are called directional valves. Yes, it is directional valve. And they're just full open or full closed. It's not like you can move your joystick a little, like 10%, and it goes 10%. You move it, well, it doesn't even have that much movement, but it's like a controller button. You press it and it's going. Versus if you had a priority valve, a proportional valve, they're proportional to the amount of, there's positions on the controller. So, meh, meh. Oh, and I'm pretty sure I've mentioned this before. I do like the Dynamic Dozer a lot. That's looking fine. However, I do need to make a few more tweaks to it. One is I got to figure out a way to put a limit switch here, and that's just for the Dixt Assist, because if the ground's really hard and it's skating, it will keep trying to go down, and essentially it lifts the back axle, and then you'll be skating and the back axle will be 6 or 8 inches off the ground, and then you'll hit a soft spot and it'll dig hard, especially if you're only trying to take an inch or two. And then you got a rough spot you got to deal with for a while. So I got to figure out how to mount a limit switch, possibly somehow this way, possibly this way forward. I haven't quite figured that out. I was thinking I could mount a clamp here with an indicator and a clamp here with the switch. I've thought about several different ways, but all I really need to do is do that and then run back to one of these guys. I can't remember which one, either that one or that one. And this is a proportional valve. So I got to put that on, and the other is, like I said, it doesn't quite have the weight I would like it to. I'm currently undecided on what I should do. Part of me thinks I should mount weights on the back here because I'd have more leverage. Part of me says it would be better just to mount it on the back here, but I do like to back blade with this thing. As you can see, it's full of dirt and gravel. And I saw that guy on the highway probably about 3/4 of a mile north there about 20 minutes ago. So he's gone about 2 miles in 20 minutes. I wonder if he knows that there's a high-speed switch in that thing. I feel bad for him. Or maybe it is acting up and that's why he's doing it. But oh, that's a long, slow drive at 3 miles an hour. Where is the bracket? Oh, I painted the bracket. It's hanging up in here. Here's my bracket. Yep. Oh, crappy paint job. And I had time to give it a second coat as well. I just chose not to. At least it's probably going to be on the underside. Looks like it. So I'm going to put a limit switch, which is this guy, around this cylinder to touch here and wired back into. All right, yeah, so it's got to get wired up into here, and what should happen once I get everything mounted is I'll lift that to a certain point where the thing touches, and then I'll try and do stuff with the controls on the tablet. So I'll get into this. I was waiting on another one of these brackets. Well, it's just a exhaust clamp. But yeah, I needed another one. So I need a couple tools. Well, if I did this right, here's how things should work. I do have clearance. Eventually this guy's gonna go down far enough that it, hear that click, makes contact. You got two options. It's just, there's 2 pins at the bottom, 2 pins at the top. If you go across the 2 pins at the bottom, it's normally closed, which means it's making contact. And then when you hit it either way, it opens the points. It's just a switch. Normally open is the opposite, where it'll stay apart and not send current until it contacts. So my thoughts, hopes, and dreams, you'll notice I haven't tied anything down. I left some extra cord, is that once this goes down too far, and obviously I left a little bit of room for adjustment, it should click. And I kind of think I got to move it to, well, that was just sitting, I'm thinking probably closer to here. You can just see the dust where it was, and I lifted, but we'll do some fine tuning. I'm worst case scenario is I got to drill another hole somewhere over there. But we're gonna figure out the spot where it makes contact and set it so that the blade is on the ground, and I'm thinking I might try and make sure there's a 2x4 under each and set it there to begin with. We can always adjust it later. And I also said, well, I don't want to have it so that, let's say for some reason, maybe I'm working in a bunch of sand or gravel where I can cut a lot deeper and I don't really care. All I got to do, I was going to put a switch, and then it's like, well, no, that doesn't override the limit switch, and I would have had to put an extra wire and all that. I just wired in a couple of Deutsch, 2-pole Deutsch, and we're gonna, this way also, if I happen to put it on the wrong one, I can just swap it to the other side. So let's get this guy hooked up. Click. Kind of hard to do one-handed. And yeah, just to make sure we have good luck on this, I haven't put any tools away. Some tools have gone over here. That's just so that they don't get jostled around and dumped. But nothing's put away yet. So let's, pretty sure I need this switch on to get, yeah, power there. It's going to beep at me the whole time because it's not going to have GPS, but I think I can still use the on-screen controls to go up and down. I'll make sure I don't set down on that thing. Turn on Dixt Assist and connect Wi-Fi. And it's going to keep beeping, so we're going to try and do this quickly. I have it on circuit 3. If I go to grading, yes, I should be able to raise it. Yes. I'm gonna level that a bit. So we're gonna lower it. I think it hit my limit switch. Yeah, it did. So we're gonna have to move it. But that means that I can still raise it. Yeah. Means I wired it correctly. Just position's gotta change. Now that I'm looking really hard, I think I'm gonna flip this to the underside. And what, I'll still have to reverse this, I guess 180. Actually I won't, I just have to undo this guy and spin it. What that's gonna do, what I worry is this guy gets going too far and then it gets stuck on this side. Because I've got it set up that you can manually override it in 2 different ways. One is hydraulic number 1, and 2 is the joystick. This is just overriding the auto grade is all that I'm trying, or I shouldn't say overriding, this is limiting the depth of the auto grade cuts. So I'm just gonna flip this guy to the other side so that it's got a lot of smooth to go across, and it's probably got more of it, and we'll see how that works. Okay, we'll see how much further I can go down. Yeah, still have a couple inches of stroke. One of the hardest parts is finding the balance, A, on a good steady spot to mount, and B, where you've got enough play that you can actually fine-tune your adjustment. Because if you end up going a 1/4 inch here and it makes 2 inches of difference there, that's not a whole lot of fun. I would almost rather it not 2 inches, but like move 1/2 inch here, you move maybe an inch there, or 1-to-1 would be even better. So we'll try it again. Lower. Ooh, that's close. I don't think the wheels are off the ground yet, and I would like them to be a little bit. Just we'll go a little bit more. Oop, wrong one. Raise. It will lower and just watch. You see the tires come up just a tiny bit. It also went negative weight in the hitch. So the hitch lifted, and I don't know if the tires are quite off the ground, but oh man, that's so close. I'm gonna leave it here for now. I don't have a whole lot more adjustment without drilling another hole, so I'm probably just gonna drill a hole because I also have the ability to, with a Allen, you can adjust a lot. Here, I'll get to the other side. Is this guy off the ground by chance? No. But you can see she's pretty light in the back end. I can adjust that guy or that guy as far as doing some fine tuning. I'm pretty confident we won't need a lot more ability to cut, but we might need a little. If all the guy needs is to have the right Allen key and a 9/16 to adjust these, that's going to be just fine, I think. So yeah, I'm going to tighten everything down. I'm going to double nut it just so it can't vibrate. Tie these down, drill another hole somewhere. Won't take long.